Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. My name is Nancy Moore, and I am the host of this podcast. I am so happy to have you here with me. I am kicking off season 9, and I have such a grateful heart. I cannot believe that I get to do this and that you all show up for me. I appreciate it so much. I want to just talk a little bit about what's to come this season and this year to give you an overview. And so I will tell you that I have the theme of make 2025 the year that you thrive. But I will say this with this caveat: if this is not your year to go gung-ho, you thrive in whatever that means to you. So, I know that sometimes it's a hard season for people, and I'm just hoping, sometimes you can just get by, and that's totally fine. But I wanted to encourage you, if you are thinking about thriving in 2025, this is your year. This is the podcast for you. That is my theme. Setting your intention for the new year is very important. And, I want to say mindset matters. And so for me, I have been not setting specific New Year's resolutions, but I am setting an intentional word. And actually, I'm just going to say I have 2 words this year. And then I do a vision board. And so if you are interested, in the past I have done vision boards and talked to people about that. And I did not this year. So if you're interested in learning more about my vision board, then just reach out to me specifically, because if you haven't done one, it's not too late. They are definitely motivating. I put my vision board in a place where I see it often. I see it daily. But my words this year are thrive, that go along with my theme, thrive in 2025, and also flourish. And honestly, the word, I usually kind of do some soul searching on finding a word. And I just was scrolling social media, and there was something that said, if take a screenshot, whenever you want to see what your word is. And so there was something going through. It was a pre-made thing. And I did a screenshot, and it said flourish. And my heart leapt. I just thought, that is my word. And so I looked it up online, and the dictionary says that it is to grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way, especially as the result of a particularly favorable environment. And it resonated so much with me. I love that word. And so my 2 words this year are thrive and flourish. And so I'm going to try to keep you in the loop of both of those. But for me, I just keep them top of mind. It's kind of the first word when I open my notes on my phone. I have it on my vision board. And so anyway, it's nice to have a word to kind of focus on. And the thrive, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but I think you've got to do more in life than just survive. But again, sometimes people are doing well just to kind of get through and survive based on different circumstances. But if you can, then instead of just going through and surviving, going through life and looking for ways to thrive, I think is important. And so I'm going to be asking my guests this podcast season what their secret is and what they're working on and how they are thriving in 2025. So look for that. And so I do encourage you to write down or find a word that resonates with you and do something where you can also keep it top of mind. And I think that you will maybe enjoy, if you've not been a word of the year person, I think that you might enjoy doing that. Okay, so I'm moving on. And I just had a conversation with somebody today, and I thought this really couldn't be more perfect as far as the timing. But we were talking about her fear of rejection and how it's preventing her from building her business. She is so scared to reach out to people. She's so fearful. She doesn't want to hear no. And so she will not ask. And so at some point, building a business is not for everyone. It's not, but I do think that she would be really good in her field, and she's just got to get through some of that, some of the no's to get to a yes. And I don't know what the statistic is. I tried to look it up to see how many no's before you finally get a yes, and it's such a high percentage. So I'd say a record number of no's before you get a yes. And of course, it all depends on, what you're asking about and who you're asking and how you present it. Of course, all that comes into play. But at some point, your comfort zone, I think, becomes so uncomfortable to you that you have to make a move. And, that then takes on that growth, that step. And it's kind of, if you view hearing a no as exciting because it's one step closer to your yes, you're going to hear a lot of no's, but it's one step closer to that yes, then just say, bring it on and start getting through the no's to where you finally get a yes. And then when you get that yes, it is so good and it is so sweet and it is so great. So, I will say that this is such a common fear of people is rejection. And so I'm going to also be talking to people. I have in the past in podcasts, in episodes, but I'm going to be asking a little more about, how people overcame that fear of rejection in hearing no, because I'll be visiting, and I'm so excited about the season, but I'm going to be visiting with a lot of people who have achieved high levels of success. And this is why I do the podcast. I want them to pass along their knowledge and their tidbits and their words of wisdom for you to learn from. So it's kind of like a mini MBA for you to learn from, and maybe you don't have to make those same mistakes, that they made. So hopefully you'll learn from that. Okay, now a couple of more things that I want to share with you. I'm attending a couple of retreats this year, and retreats for me are a way for me to fill my cup and get new ideas and also just meet new people for my podcast. And so I'll be sharing these retreats as I'm going on them on social media. One is later this month in January, and then another one is in March. It's in April. And so anyway, just be looking for that. And then if you have any questions about the retreats that I am scheduling, why I've gone, what I've thought about it, then just, of course, reach out to me. I would like to share more with you about that. But that is something that I go, and a lot of times I just go completely on my own. The January one, I'm going with my husband, and he's going to golf while I'm at the retreat. And it's just such a fun way for me to meet new people and be surrounded by people who are motivated, who are energized, who are just outstanding women. So I'm really, really excited about both of those retreats. And then also my January live podcast event is sold out. It's called Conversations with Passion and Purpose. And I have 5 scheduled this year. That is the January event on January 31st is sold out now. But you could look for the next one. I'll be announcing the beginning of February, the one that will be at the end of March. So look for those. If you're not following me on social media, please do so. It's Sharing Passion and Purpose on Instagram and Facebook, and Passion Sharing on Twitter, and then Sharing Passion and Purpose on LinkedIn as well. Okay. And also, one more thing. If you have, if it's on your heart to reach out to women through this event. I do have sponsorship opportunities where you are recognized, and I am pretty selective in the sponsorships that I work with. And so please reach out at sharingpassionandpurpose@gmail.com, and I'd love to have a conversation with you and see if it is a fit for you and for me. And so anyway, I would love to hear from you. And then also, if you have a guest that you are wanting to hear from, I am pretty well booked through the end of May, but I have a few more openings. So if you are interested in being on my podcast, please reach out to me. And I'm going to tell you a secret. If you pitch me something and you send it to my email, do not say Dear Passion or Dear Sharing. Take the time to learn my name, which it's Nancy Moore, and send me an email, because I think I just am inundated with so many people trying to pitch their ideas, their podcasts, their people. And so, again, I'm pretty selective on who I talk to, and I want to make sure that it's beneficial for both parties. So anyway, but if you are interested or know of somebody who would be good for my podcast, please reach out. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you about that. Okay, so now moving along, season 9 is going to start next week with my guest, Christy Eller-DeBoer. She is the founder of KED Styled and a big cheerleader for women who want to make an investment in themselves. Women who want to do the work to maximize their personal and professional lives. And I've interviewed her before. I needed to look back and see what season that was. It was kind of towards the beginning of her business, and she has just really taken off. And so we got together again, and I'm catching up with her. And she is just a great, great person, inside and out. She is beautiful and kind and funny and sensitive and caring, and just such an incredible person. So she is real and honest, and she's made big changes in her life. And so I would encourage you to possibly this week look up Christy's podcast and listen to the first one, because you will hear she has been sober, and she has lost weight. She started a business, all these different incredible things, and is doing so well. She's a mother of 2 boys. We talk about on this current podcast, her boys and her husband and that kind of thing too. But she's just an incredible person. This is kind of a part 2 of that first podcast episode. But I am just so excited because I've interviewed some great people and am looking forward to sharing these people with you. I will say Christy is also in Tulsa Kids Magazine. So if you go to tulsakids.com, you can search Green Country Grown Up, and she is in the January issue if you want to read that. You can also access that podcast from before, Christy's podcast from before, and then I'll be releasing this podcast, and we're going to do a live the same day where she is going to style me for my upcoming event. And so if you have any questions for Christy about style, about styling, she's going to shop my closet actually. And so I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I am so happy you are here for season 9. I can't wait for it to get started. The new podcasts are out on Tuesdays, so please follow along and subscribe to my podcasts. I really appreciate it. You can rate and review them. That always helps. And I would just be ever so grateful for you to share the podcast as well. So thank you so much. I look forward to this new season and thriving with you in 2025.